Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurame Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karashyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Atha Chaturthodhyayah.
Atha Chaturthodhyayah.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha.
Imam Vivasvate Yogam
Imam Vivasvate Yogam.
Proktavanahamavvyayam
Proktavanahamavvyayam.
Vivasvan Manave Praha
Ivasvan manave praha.
Manurikshvakave Bravita
Manurikshvakave pravid.
Evam Parampara Praptam
Evam parampara praptam.
Imam Rajarshayo Viduhu
Imam rajarshayo viduhu.
Sakale Neha Mahata
Sakale neha mahata.
Yogo Nashtah Parantapa
Yogo nashtha param tapa.
Sayevayam Maya Tedya
Sayevam yam maya tethya.
Yoga Proktah Puratanaha
Yoga prokta puratanaha.
Bhaktosi Me Sakacheti
Bhaktosi me sakha cheti.
Rahasyam Hetaduttamam.
Rahasyam hetaduttamam.
We are in third shloka. This Uttamam Ragasyam Parampara Praptam, this yoga which was lost due to a long lapse of time, now I teach you because you are my friend and you are my Bhakta devotee. This knowledge lost. Lost means not really it is. It is being Atma Jnanam, therefore it cannot be lost. Lost in the sense it was widely popular, widely followed, widely pursued. Due to a long lapse of time, people were not interested in gaining knowledge and therefore becoming free. They were entangled in this material pursuit of this artha and kama, wanting immediate gratification of the senses, pleasure, artha and kama. Therefore, this knowledge was not given that importance. Therefore, it was lost as though. And this knowledge remains secret. Though it is available, open, still remains a secret. Either because of not able to understand what this knowledge reveals, or because of the non-availability, as Swami just said, non-availability of the people following this. Therefore, remains rahasya. And the next topic, this knowledge should only be given to one who wants to know. Any knowledge for that matter should be given to only to those who wants to know. It's an important condition. Otherwise, any knowledge which is given, neither the giver nor the knowledge will be trusted and valued. More than the knowledge, the giver also sometimes will be ridiculed. So, and the right receiver, the right student is hardly there also. Like in the Kathopanishad, Nachiketa and Yamadharmaraja, and here Krishna, Arjuna, and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Vivekananda, such guru-disciple relationship is rare, very rare. The right student is there, therefore the teacher also rare. When the student is right, when the student is qualified, they say teacher will come. When the students gains the pakvata, the maturity, the adhikaritva, like that of the Arjuna here, or Nachiketa, or Vivekananda, then teacher must come. That is the order. And yet here Arjuna's enthusiasm and his interest in knowing the knowledge, even the battle, midst of the battlefield, was so high of high degree. Therefore, Bhagavan gave this knowledge. He deserves, therefore, this knowledge was given. So this knowledge should be given to one who wants to know, who deserves, who really appreciates the teaching as well as the teacher. Because the teaching is with the teacher, therefore. In Arjuna's case, the knowledge was not given to him because Krishna knew that Arjuna was not interested in it before. Even if he had taught him, the knowledge would not have meant anything to Arjuna. Therefore, time has to come. Such knowledge should be only given to someone really who wants to know. So even Arjuna is known to Krishna since long time from childhood, but now the time has come. Now Arjuna discovered himself to be a seeker, a mumukshu, and he surrendered to his friend who has become a guru now. Therefore, Krishna feels that Arjuna has become a proper recipient. Therefore, he teaches. Unless a person recognizes that there is a problem, it is useless to offer a solution. Recognizes the fundamental problem, self-non-acceptance. Self-non-acceptance, that is a fundamental problem, and the person not only recognizing and also wanting to find a solution for it. That person only this knowledge should be given. Then only it will be fruitful also. Therefore, we can give the person a hint by saying that there is a fundamental problem that he or she doesn't recognize. However, only when the person recognizes that there is a problem, is a solution of any interest to him or her. In spite of hinting, the person doesn't appreciate the fundamental problem. He always gives some other reason, not willing to, more than not able to, not willing to acknowledge the fundamental problem. This is the common thing. Then it shows that person is not ready. That is why surrendering is acknowledging the fundamental problem, not able to find a solution for the problem by oneself. That is what surrender is. Surrender is not that not for the purpose of satiating the ego of the teacher. So Arjuna surrendered. He could recognize a fundamental problem. Therefore, he is interested in the solution, which is knowledge. Arjuna also had to recognize that there was a problem. This Yuddha is only a topical. So the topical problem, he arrived at the fundamental problem, which is the situation. Now Arjuna found himself in a situation. That situation calls for his complete attention to discover the fundamental problem. He had been brought up in a certain way at a time when Vyasa and Shuka were household names. Such people were walking in and out of the places where Arjuna, his brothers, or cousins are growing up. Naturally, then Arjuna had many opportunities to hear about this knowledge, but as a prince, he was concerned only with acquiring the skills, accomplishments, and laurels of a prince, all of which were good and necessary also. Being a Kshatriya, all these are required. Mastery over the, the weapons, so martial arts, all these are required. At the same time, this knowledge also, in spite of Vyasa and Shuka were around, Arjuna had opportunity. In spite of that, he was not concerned that time. His attention were more in gaining the skills which are required for a Kshatriya, as a prince, whatever required. So therefore, he was not interested in this knowledge that time. Also, the situation had not come to discover this problem. Even during his 12 years exile, when Pandavas were exiled, banished from the country for 12 plus 1 year, and 12 years they live in the forest. Arjuna's main concern was the acquisition and maintenance of missiles and various skills in order to win back the kingdom. Therefore, only he did tapas and he got Pashupatastra, etc. So many weapons, many astra, shastra he got. Purpose of gaining those astras is to fight with the Duryodhana and others and get win back the kingdom. Win back the kingdom. So for Arjuna, this was a one-pointed commitment, ekagrata. It was an obsession. There was no other thought in him, thought in his mind that time. Therefore, he had neither the time nor the interest to pursue this knowledge. Now, in the battlefield, all his interests suddenly melted away. Suddenly, he found no meaning in all the accomplishments he had gained. All his accomplishments appeared useless to him, yes, because he saw they were all meant only for destruction. Suddenly, this knowledge arose in him. This shows the good heart of the Arjuna, nobility. He discovered the compassionate person in him. But the compassion, even though the compassion is appreciated, but it is good, but it is not the right time, right place also. Because this war is not for his own purpose. That's for selfish purpose. Here the war is for establishing dharma. So it's dharma yuddha. Therefore, whoever may be the opponent, the war has to be fought and won over. Therefore, being dharmika is duty. Kshatriya and dharmika is duty to fight the war. And Arjuna had lived a life of dharma. He had necessary viveka to be able to distinguish between right and wrong, dharma and adharma, dharma, adharma, viveka. Because only he is dharmika. He had gained the ability to understand what is dharma and what is adharma. Not like Duryodhana. He knows dharma, dharma. Duryodhana also knows dharma, adharma. But Duryodhana was overpowered by his kama. But Arjuna had more power over, mastery over kama. Therefore, his sense of dharma prevailed. He also had compassion, because of which, when he saw how destructive the battle would be, he no longer wanted to fight. He was like a boxer who trains himself for the world championship. For 6 months, every day he runs and eats the proper food, exercises, works out with punching bags, wears out sparring partners as well. He also spends $500,000 to achieve his end. On the day when the bout is to take place, he climbs into the ring, applauded by the enthusiastic fans that have come to watch. Then, looking at his opponent, he suddenly becomes sympathetic and walks out. This may be the proper thing to do, but his opponent is not going to see it this way. Instead, he will brag, "The poor fellow took one look at me and ran away." Avachyavansa Bhagavan Vadishyanti Tavahitaha, in the second chapter, Bhagavan told, he cautioned Arjuna, if you withdraw from the war, people will mock at you. Everyone else, including his own manager, will say the same thing, and his opponent will become the champion by default. So this was Arjuna's problem exactly. He did not want to fight, not out of fear, but out of compassion. Naturally, then he had to decide whether he should fight or not. He was cornered, so to speak, and had to make a decision. So this is a situation. The situation helped him to discover the problem. An objective opinion is always helpful. Whenever you have to make a decision that involves the consideration of several factors, it is always helpful to have the opinion of someone else who is not involved in the issue. The mind of such a person will very likely to be more objective than yours with reference to the particular issue you are attempting to resolve. Krishna was someone Arjuna could talk to. Having seen the meaninglessness of his previous pursuits and victories, Arjuna wanted to know the meaning of life, not the meaning of victory. What am I going to gain out of this victory? Why should I gain anything out of anything? The question about life itself, and was the essence of Arjuna's question. And now that Arjuna asked this question, Krishna could give him the knowledge. The same Arjuna who raised many questions with regard to the war after coming to the war, now is asking questions about the knowledge. So it shows his interest. For the asking, this knowledge should be given, but it doesn't have to be asked for. This was how it was kept away from the people. Vedanta was almost unheard of until recently. Only during the past 100 years has it been more widely available. And many of the translations that are presently in circulation contain erroneous concepts, resulting in further confusion about Vedanta. Yes, the translations are available. The same Gita is interpreted by so many people in different ways. In addition to the different Siddhantas, like Visishta, Dvaita, Dvaita, etc., that is fine. At least that is fine. The different views. But the people who don't know Sanskritam, who have no idea of what Gita is, they also they have their own concept, erroneous concept, and they thrust this on the people in the form of the teaching. Therefore, there are confusion. There are confusion. Self-proclaimed teacher, because of self-proclaimed teacher, there are confusions. Even with regard to regard to the Gita, of course, about Vedanta, the Upanishad, etc. So therefore, this before Vedanta was not popular. Now it has become popular. Maybe it has become a business now, and contain erroneous concept, not studying properly, not having gone to the guru, asking for this knowledge. It's all learned by oneself. Shastrajñopi Brahman Veshanam na kuryat. Shankaracharya, he cautions, even if a person knows all the Shastra, you should not study Vedanta of his own. Always he has to go to a teacher. That is what Shankaracharya says in his Bhashya. So, even if a person is well informed of all the Shastras, one should not study. If that is the case, then what to talk about the modern people? Therefore, there are many confusions, erroneous concepts, and therefore confusions. Some people say Gita is a Karma Shastra, talks about only karma. Some people talk about the synthesis of all the yogas. Synthesis of all the yoga. All the yoga is Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Hatha Yoga, as called Raja Yoga. So like that, there are many confusions about the Gita. Not some people say Gita is a bedtime reading book, like a story book, or it is a reference book when one is in some problem. Maybe that can be referred to when one has confusion, one is disturbed, one is mentally, if the person is disturbed. One can refer to Gita, one can read Gita for solace. That is okay. Some words, certain words may give solace. That is maybe Avantara Palam. But Gita is a Moksha Shastra. It is meant for gaining moksha. It is a pramanam. It has the status of being a pramanam, like that of the Veda. As the Veda, so the Gita also. That is why it is called Gita, Shruti. Even the Linga, the word Gita is Srilinga word, like that of the Shruti, Srilinga. So therefore it is a moksha shastra. Being a pramanam, and that is should be operated by the teacher who comes under the sampradaya. That's why evam samprada parampara praptam idam jnanam. The knowledge which has been handed over down the tradition in the form of the Vedanta, now that is given in the form of Gita by me. Iti Bhagavan says. So Gita, essence of Gita is essence of the Upanishad. Upanishads are Moksha Shastra. Then what about the Gita? That also must be Moksha Shastra only. And there are different concepts of moksha also. So all these people have different concepts, different ideas. So these erroneous concepts. Therefore, big confusion, the spiritual field in the field in Vedanta. With regard to Vedanta. So before it was not a common subject, commonly heard word. Now it is heard. It's known. Vedanta is the word, and the texts are available for access. Translations are available in all the languages. Therefore, it is subject to interpretation, more than interpretation, misinterpretation. So therefore, Vedanta is not a common subject matter. It is kept away from people either because it is so easily misunderstood. This is another reason. That is why it is kept away. Otherwise, it will be misinterpreted, miscommunicated. One has to show interest in gaining this knowledge. One has to gain the pakvata and show the interest. That's why it is kept away. So one has to travel all the way from the plains to the mountains, where the rishis are there, where the teachers are there, ashrams are there. Therefore, going there and learn, it's not an easy thing. Therefore, that's why it was kept away. Now it is widely available. And second thing, are because people are not interested in it. So two reasons. Either it is easily misunderstood. Therefore, only it was not available for the public. And second thing, people are not interested in it. Therefore, only it remained a secret. In fact, it is better to listen to Vedanta without any background whatsoever than to have already been initiated into it wrongly. Yeah, very important. Having initiated into wrongly, having learned wrongly, then learning Vedanta again properly from a teacher would be a difficult task. First, you have to unlearn and then learn. Already the cup is filled. Now that has to be emptied, and again it has to be filled by the right knowledge. So that becomes a difficult task. It involves more effort than the effort required for a beginner, newcomer. So therefore, better to listen to Vedanta without any background. Not having understood Vedanta as a pramanam, and therefore Gita as a pramanam. Therefore, Gita is not looked upon as a moksha shastra. Gita is a moksha shastra. It doesn't have any other purpose. It is a moksha shastra. It may have other secondary results, but that is not the pradhana. That is not the pradhana palam. It is pradhana. It's not the main purpose. Gita is moksha, meant for moksha, meant for gaining knowledge, and therefore moksha. There is no other pradhana artha for Gita. Utility or use purpose of Gita. Therefore, better to understand, better to study Vedanta without any background. Otherwise, you have to recast your understanding, which is not easy. Yes, it can be and can be painful as well, because when Vedanta has to be learnt again, then the teacher has to show the wrong understanding and also the wrong teaching. So in the process, the teacher also has to be condemned. The previous teacher has to be condemned. Condemned not with the hate, but to show the errors. It has to be condemned. So therefore, it will be very painful. It is true. It is painful. Having learned Gita from a person who has not combined a sampradaya, who himself has not learned properly, or probably has understanding based on some wrong concepts, having learned from that person, again to learn from the person who comes under sampradaya will be very difficult. Now the teacher has to, now the Vedanta teacher he has to apply more effort than the student to make the student understand. The student comes with previous background, previous knowledge. The knowledge is strong. Now it's not a correct knowledge. If it is correct knowledge, then it will not be a problem. Now that old knowledge, the wrong knowledge, erroneous knowledge has to be replaced by new knowledge. Therefore, teacher also has to work. So it is a tough task for the teacher and more tough for the student also. And for the student, it can be very painful. Sometimes when Swamiji criticizes other views, people who have those views have come under those background. They feel hurt. It happens. It is not to hurt, but it is to make this just to show that their conclusions about the Gita and the Vedanta is wrong. Should Vedanta be taught to everyone? It's an important topic. It's a debatable topic. Should Vedanta be taught? Deliberately keeping Vedanta away from people can be a problem, because if it is kept away, it will vanish. It will go away also. Because people will not show interest. People, they don't know, therefore they will not be aware of it also. And other theologies, religions, it will grow in the place of this knowledge. The wrong theologies will grow, will occupy the minds of the people. Therefore, it should not be kept away from the people also. If it is kept away, then prevents the people from knowing it. It is there. Still, a person who has this knowledge may have a conflict about talking publicly about Vedanta, because the people who come to listen may not really want to know or even need to know. No interest. So then also it's a problem. Then you cannot talk about Vedanta openly. They may come to the talk thinking they are going to get something out of it without really knowing what is going to be taught. Generally, people who come to such talks are the people, they think they get something materially, something which they can capitalize in the material world. But this knowledge is not for converting into any capital. This is for one's growth understanding. So how many people would appreciate this knowledge? Therefore, this knowledge is not that much appreciated as other knowledge. Any other vidya, para vidya, if it is taught, they can capitalize this knowledge. But what about this knowledge? So therefore, people come thinking that they would, not knowing what would be taught, but thinking that what they teach would be something beneficial and they can materialize it, capitalize it. With that idea only they come. Moreover, if they already know what is being taught, then they do not need to come. Whether it will help those who do not know is anyone's guess. Also, the teaching can be easily misconstrued by those who are not ready, as evidenced by the kinds of questions that are asked and the comments made after the teaching has taken place. This is another big problem. Getting the right student is always a problem for the teacher. Asking questions which are completely out of the context, or completely, and it is not doesn't deserve for a mumukshu. Asking questions which are not proper on the part of the mumukshu. Being a mumukshu, but they are not. But the questions are not mumukshu. Therefore, they ask questions. They have to first. They have to cultivate mumukshutvam. They have to cultivate mumukshutvam. Then only they can ask questions. Therefore, initially they are not mumukshus. Out of some curiosity or some enthusiasm, they come. After that, they discover this knowledge and wanting to know more, and this knowledge also becomes one of the priority in the list. Then slowly they may turn to be a mumukshu. After becoming a mumukshu, after they becoming a mumukshu, generally a mumukshu, after this, after having gained, after having understood to some extent, they may not ask questions which are irrelevant. They may not they ask questions that the questions which are completely out of the scope of Vedanta. Vedanta doesn't give you any material benefit. Vedanta doesn't solve any physical problem. Vedanta shows that there is no problem. For the one who comes with the problem, if you say there is no problem, the person will turn away, will not come. So therefore, the questions they ask, from that will be evident what kind of people are there, what kind of students are there. Therefore, not all the students, not all the people who attend are mumukshus. It takes time for them to discover the mumukshu in them. That itself is a big thing, big achievement. So that is also one of the purpose of Vedanta. Attending the class for a length of time, person discovers the mumukshu in himself. Then if he continues, then slowly he gets maturity and understands Vedanta. So it all takes time. Therefore, for the completely uninformed person, beginner, so the teaching can be easily, and also who is not interested, who doesn't have any idea about what it is, who doesn't have interest, have not heard about even moksha, are not interested in finding a solution to this fundamental problem, because the fundamental problem itself is they have not discovered, they have not recognized. Therefore, to them, if it is taught, then from the question they ask, it becomes very evident. It becomes evident how this teaching could be understood by them. And also the comments made after the teaching has taken place. What is this teacher talking? Is it, it's not relevant for me. So such comments may take place. So in such cases, it seems to be a waste not only with reference to people themselves, but also in terms of the erroneous notion they will pass on to those to whom they talk in turn. The Vedanta is a humbug, Vedanta is useless, talks about something called moksha, which is irrelevant, which is not possible, impossibility. So all those things. This is why many teachers talk only to those who come to the not to the public. That's why public talks will be general talks. It will not be specific to any topic of the Vedanta. Even if it is there, then lot of practical examples and practical ideas and practical benefits are brought in the presentation. Because people who come to the talks, they are not mumukshus. Different kinds of people come. That is why Vedanta is not talked openly. If it is taught openly, if it is talked openly, people will not appreciate. So therefore, even if not only that, it can be misconstrued by the people. So for fear of that only, it is kept away. There is no other reason. However, if no one talks to the public, then how are people going to know? That is why Swami Chinmayananda from the mountains to the plains, he brought the teaching and made it public. At least people will come to know. Otherwise, teaching would have been only in the mountains, remaining inaccessible. Even for the mediocre mumukshus. There are mumukshus, mediocre. They may not be feeble mumukshu. They may not have strong mumukshutvam, feeble mumukshutvam they may have, but at least for them. So that's why it was brought to the field, to the plains. So if no one talks to the public, how are people going to know? There is a saying in Tamil that is very appropriate here. In India, the month before the northern solstice begins is considered to be a very important time for prayers and other religious activities. During this period, one person of a particular family is appointed to go to each house in several villages between 4 and 5 every morning and blow a conch. Then during the following month, which is harvest time, we'll go to everyone and collect enough rice to last him for the whole year. So this is the blowing the conch. That is the story here. That is northern solstice is Uttarayana. That starts in the month of January to July. Uttarayana Punyakala, and that is 6 months. The sun moves towards north, and from July to again January, the sun moves towards south. It's called northern solstice and uh, northern and southern solstice. In Sanskrit, it's called Uttarayana and Dakshinaya. Ayanam means movement. Ayanam of the sun. Uttarayanam, Dakshinayana. 12 months divided into 2, 6 months. 6 months. Uttarayanam consists of 6 months from January to July. And July to January is another 6 months, that is Dakshinayana. So during the Uttarayan period, that is January to July, so that is the time the harvest is done in India at least. So that time, one person of a particular family is appointed in the village to go to each house in the village between 4 and 5 in the morning, blow a conch. Then the following month, which is harvest time, you will go to again to everyone's house to collect the rice. So this is the person goes and wakes up the people. So that people will get ready for work in the field, and in the next month they do harvest. So this person is like a time alarm piece. He goes and wakes up people. Although this person is supposed to blow the conch at each house just before dawn, this person has so many villages to cover that he must begin the first village at 11 at night. Then he has to walk to all the other villages, which are approximately 1 hour apart. So he arrives at the other villages at 12 at midnight and 1 in the morning and so on. At 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 and 6 and 7 like that. Therefore, in this way, he covers them all, reaching the last village at 4:30 or 5 in the morning. Supposed to cover all the villages by that time. If you ask him, why did you start the night before? He will reply, my job is to blow the conch. I blow it. Then the dawn will come when it passes. This is what blowing the conch. You blow the conch. You blow the conch means you do what you are supposed to do. Things will happen. My job is to blow the conch. I blow it. The dawn will come when it comes. Because of this practice of blowing the conch is a common expression in some South Indian districts. Blowing the conch is a common phrase. This practice itself is a kind of prayer considered to be very important for keeping away all undesirable events such as drought, disease, and so on, so that the village will have plenty and prosperity. Similarly, here a teacher of Vedanta, what he does, blows the conch. He teaches whoever interested, let them listen and benefit. Teacher's job is to blowing the conch. Even if one student is there, fine, blow the conch. People will come. They come, okay. If they don't come, also okay. My job is to blow the conch. So that the phrase is used here, also common. The dawn of knowledge will come when people will wake up. They will wake up in their own time. But my job is to blow the conch. The dawn of knowledge will come when it comes. In some cases, the conch may have been blown a little earlier than necessary, perhaps. However, when a conflict arises in the teacher's mind, he or she only has to say, just blow the conch. Otherwise, a person who has this knowledge has to sit quietly in one place and only talk to those who come and ask to be taught. So he has to remain with oneself. No. That is also okay. Really speaking, this is the thing to be done rather than giving this knowledge to anyone and everyone, irrespective of the fact whether the person is ready or not. But that is better. That is with oneself, instead of teaching this to the people who neither have interest nor even respect for the knowledge. So better I should be taught. Having gained the knowledge, he can remain happily with himself. But all if he does is it is out of compassion. So therefore, this is the best thing to do. Again, this is also depends on the swabhava of the person. Prakriti. Prakriti nyanti bhutani. Nigraha kim karishyati. We saw the last chapter. A teacher teaches. Shankaracharya and all taught. But Ramana Maharshi and all did not teach. He remained quiet. This is because this knowledge is not like any other knowledge. It is Uttama Ragasya and is best to be given to those who ask for it. Okay, let us complete this. Therefore, Arjuna, Krishna might have said, I did keep this knowledge away from you. However, don't blame me. I kept it away from you only because you did not ask for it. Then Arjuna's first question would have been, all right, but why did you choose to teach me today? In anticipation of such a question, Krishna says here, because you said you are my student, Shishyasteham Sharimam Tvam Prapanam, and you asked me to teach. In the second chapter you told, therefore I teach you. Once Krishna recognized Arjuna as a student, as a devotee, Arjuna may have felt that he had lost a friend, although he had gained a teacher. This often happens in self-arranged, mutually consented marriages. An husband or wife is gained and a friend is lost. Until marriage, the person is a good friend, but as soon as the marriage takes place, the friendship goes away. This is the most unfortunate situation because friendship between the husband and wife is to be maintained. To reassure Arjuna that their friendship is not lost, therefore Krishna tells him, not only you are my devotee, you are my friend. Bhakta, Sakapi. Thus Arjuna was doubly blessed. Twice he was blessed. Twice blessed. He not only gained a teacher, but he continued to talk to Krishna as a friend. When Krishna says, you are my friend, Me Saka Asi, he does so as Mr. Krishna, not as Ishvara. Yes, as friend it is Krishna, not as Ishvara the Lord. After all, the friendship was not an age-old one. It could be counted in years. But when Krishna says, you are my devotee, then he is talking as the Ishvara as well as the Guru. On this point, Arjuna has a question to clear up a doubt, one that is in the minds of many people. Those who follow Gita, this question naturally will arise, that he taught to Vivaswan at the beginning of creation. Now he is teaching. Therefore, there seems to be some chronological discrepancy, time difference. So Arjuna had heard that Krishna was Bhagavan Vishnu himself. He certainly knew that Krishna possessed great powers because he had seen Krishna demonstrate his powers. Perhaps Arjuna, having been told that Krishna was Vishnu, wanted to hear it straight from Krishna himself. Therefore, in the commentary, Shankaracharya says, the Arjuna's question was simply to remove the doubts in the minds of those who do not recognize Krishna as the Lord. Therefore, he asked a question. What is the question that we will read in the next class? Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದः.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದः.